All right. Welcome to another episode of Dinks with Kinks. Here we are. Y'all excited this week?
Well, of
Pretty
course.
excited.
I'm always excited.
I
too
feel
much.
like, unlike today's fetish, I can't be caged. Oh,
40
that's right.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Before
30
the social
seconds.
promo. And here's the social promo.
And even before
Follow us.
introductions, he's trying to do it too.
I know.
I
He
had-
didn't even introduce us.
Got to get him in there early. Follow us on social
That's the
media,
only way he gets 'em.
Instagram and Twitter at Dinks with Kinks, and check out our Patreon. Links below. I'm your host, John Ondero, and with me my other two very lovely, very sexy hosts, Miss Rebecca
Oh, hello.
and Mr. Shep.
Good evening.
So yeah, I gotta get those puns in, man. I tell you what, I gotta.
That was
get
like a
Shep-
shortened intro. You usually like have some long, elaborate intro for Shep.
Listen,
Is
Shep
it
has
cold in that
stepped.
room tonight?
It's
It
a little
probably is.
cold.
Well,
A little
Shep
short
has stepped
intro?
up.
a little short.
See, that's it right there. That's why. Because Shep has stepped up that pun game, and I got to get in there fast. Quick and fast.
It's not a game until I find somebody to actually play with.
Oh, that's cold.
Are there applications for that? Because like I think I might need one.
I have different applications for you. Fun games aren't one.
Nice. All right. Well, guys, we're
we are.
talking about
I'm a
chastity.
woodsy person. We're those reindeer games in chastity belts. Yeah.
Yeah, fancy chastity belt, sexual denial. Erotic sexual denial, to be precise, because you can't have sexual denial without being erotic about it.
And
Oh, yeah.
lost, not just a river in Egypt.
Have you got?
I'm going to start keeping tally. I'm just gonna y'all are gonna. It's gonna be on either one of you.
What?
See, I'm telling you, that's why I gotta get in there.
You
Educate
are.
people. That's all.
Yeah,
Talking
right.
about
Listen,
denial.
consider me
Floating down the
educated.
river of denial.
So, have you guys ever? Is this a fetish you guys have ever had experience with? Were you guys even aware this wasn't a fetish?
I was aware of chastity, but in a different way.
Yes.
I
Men
wasn't.
in tights. Damn that locksmith.
You know, this podcast, Men in Tights, is a whole different thing.
Oh no, you're correct.
That's on the wheel.
I mean, I grew up in a very religious community, so like chastity meant something completely different to me.
That
So
it did.
I sort of knew about it, and then I started researching for this week, and now I know a lot about it. So
Is that good or bad?
it's interesting. I think it's interesting.
This I will say this is definitely an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Erotic sexual denial is the practice of refraining from sexual experiences in order to increase erotic arousal and or tension. The prohibited experience can be narrowly or broadly defined and banned for specific or indeterminate length of time, depending on the practitioner.
Practitioner.
Practitioner. I probably said that completely wrong. I wrote it right, and I can read it in my head right.
Practitioner.
There it is. That's the word I was looking for. All right.
I liked his version better though. It was really starting to stick on me.
Practitioner. Yeah.
I'm
On a shirt
waiting
it
for
says
you to have a gavel and then start
Pat, pat, pat. That's
spouting
the
off
word.
fetishes really fast.
Anyway, I don't even know how to handle that one. So anyway, this is like
That's what she
breakdown into multiple things. Now, Shep, I wanted to ask you. You work in the fetish industry as a dom at fetish events. Have you ever seen people participate in this? Like, you may not have participated in this, but have you seen it used before in your professional
I believe
experience?
so.
I have seen it in like pictures in groups, like fetish groups, when they post. Like I'm a member of many kink groups, and this is actually a pretty common, popular kink, especially with cross dressers. and quote unquote sissies. As
I saw a lot
form
of that in
yeah.
my many videos, and that was a big
You
thing.
get to use the tongue sliding word of sissification.
Sissification. It's a fun word, sissification. And very common. They go hand in hand. Usually as a form of punishment because it's a very degrading thing. I think a lot of times when I've seen it used. Now, when I think of chastity device, I think, again, as Shep said, Robin Hood Men in Tights, Find the Locksmith, a woman wearing a chastity belt. I never in a million years heard the phrase cock cage.
See,
Cage.
because I'm a history buff, and I knew about the female chastity belts. I mean, they used to use them, but in
Wait, did you say you used to use them?
they used to use them.
Oh, okay. I just heard for a second. I used to use them, and I'm like, oh, did you now?
No.
How religious was
There
your
was
community?
nothing chaste about me. Thanks. Maybe when I was like an infant, that was about. But they used it especially in the Victorian times to stop masturbation. Like that was a big thing for them, and a lot of people used them back then. Because it was dirty, it was wrong, it was unclean, and so I mean, I knew about that. As a
And
denial,
now it's dirty right and all things right.
right?
I was about to
Like I
say,
didn't think
like-
about it in a way that people use it as a pleasure device. Like I knew it was a denial. I didn't think that the denial led into something.
Rule
Leads into
34.
the ocean.
Internet Rule 34, which states, if it exists, someone is aroused by it.
That is true.
And that's 100% accurate. And yeah, you have this devices that were literally designed to keep sex out of your mind. That people are using for sexual pleasure. And I love that. They're like, oh no, not only will we use this, we'll use it for eroticism, not against. And yeah, there are things called cock cages, which are exactly what they sound like. They are penis-shaped cages that go around your wing wang. And a lot of them have...
Wing?
I did say wing wang. It's the proper scientific term for penis. The wing wang doodle is the full Latin, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on now.
And then
This
the
is a
Irish
professional
scientific
podcast.
one was the meat and two veg. What?
The meat and two veg. That's another one. I think that's pre-Latin, but yeah.
I like the twig
The
and
wing
ginkgo
wang
berries.
doodle, twig and berries, the beater stick.
Okay, caging, and we're caging them.
Yeah, we're caging. We're locking them up, and a lot of times these devices they look medieval-esque. They look
do.
like lock cages, and I think that's kind of the arousal of it. It's the punishment.
Minus the possible chafing.
I mean, some people are probably into the chafing. Yeah. I mean, we did a whole episode on ball torture, so I'm going to say chafing might be part of that. That if you were to become erect, it would become very painful. So you definitely don't want to be erect by any means.
I
instead of a-
actually not true. I have something that I read. I actually I screenshotted it because I thought that was incredibly interesting.
Well, let's hear it.
I know. Being caged, the male being caged, because usually it's a sub, more than likely it's going to be a sub. When he gets aroused because it's caged, it's a reminder of that you're always, when you get aroused, your mind automatically goes to your what they call the key holder. You're the person who holds the key to your cage. So it's that form of complete submission. So anytime you get aroused, it's a reminder of your key holder. And I thought that was really fun because that's that whole arousal part. It's like that complete and utter submission. And that was a fun little factor.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, when the bone hits the sides, that's the
That's
key
when
holder.
Yeah, I was like, that's when I scream, key holder.
Sometimes
Actually,
it's
you know what?
amore.
I will say that really puts it in perspective. Like, the one thing I was really having trouble with this fetish is just kind of putting me in that situation. And that does, it kind of puts it, it's a physical reminder of the person you're submitting to.
Mm-hmm.
Because without the key holder, you're trapped.
My extensive research that now I'm like an expert. No, I'm not an expert. I'm really not. But from what I have gathered,
No, right now, contact Rebecca on our Patreon. She'll respond. Rebecca, you message her and say, "Hey, I have some questions about chastity."
Oh my
and
God,
you
please
can send
don't.
her pics. Yes.
oh, because there are people that will be coming after me, and I just I'm a newbie like everyone else. Is I was watching people actually who are into it, and they were talking about it, and they were saying a lot of times it's men who are very, they are very active in their lives. They are in charge. They hold a lot of power. They make a lot of decisions, and so to give the fact that they can't have an orgasm, that somebody else is in control of their sexual nature, is very erotic to them. They completely submit that their key holder is the one that's making that choice for them, and that's the biggest draw to it, that they relinquish complete control of like the most basic nature of themselves to somebody else. And I was like, I don't know. I could do it. I mean, I enjoy submitting. Like, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But I think
that's
that
a long
plays-
time.
when we discussed dom and sub relationships, which was a couple episodes back, we actually talked about that. Typically, subs are people who are very take charge of their personal lives. So that's a good connection. Look at you making all those connections.
I mean,
You connecting the dots.
Yeah, but we spend so much time, effort, and money to fight off erectile dysfunction, and here we are encouraging erectile,
Denial.
denial, deflation.
but here's a question.
But I get
for
it
you,
though, still.
for both of you. Have you ever denied yourself an orgasm? I'm not going to come right away.
I mean, that's the goal every time, to not come right away. Just gonna throw
Only if
that
I
out
noticed
there.
I was aiming towards her eye, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get in the eye.
Typically, coming in the first 30 seconds is frowned upon in most cultures. Most. I said most. So, yeah, I mean, there's
Unless
a
you
point
stay for
of...
secondsies and thirdsies, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there is a point to where you're like, I'm holding back restraint, but it's not for chastity reasons. It's for prolonging the fun. But I think a lot of this fetish, and that was my point, the denial was to extend sexual gratification over a predetermined amount of time.
I think it's hard for you guys to understand because you guys are dumb. Like, that's where your brain goes. Like, you don't understand how hot it is to just go, here, I trust you. I trust you with everything. And it's a month long. Like, it's a huge commitment. Some people go months. And it's that one of, here, I am just surrendering. And that's hot. I mean... that full, complete surrender. And yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I would
never say that I don't understand. I mean, I fully understand, accept it, and all such. I'm just in total denial of it.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was like once every 5 minutes.
yeah, yeah. I
Every
mean,
5
I think
minutes. I'm gonna start working
I
out for
think
that
you're
one.
actually right. I think this is one of those fetishes that you're going to have the better clue into what it's about than me and Shep. And that's coming from me, quote unquote, the know-it-all. You're right.
Okay, so whenever you're in a play session, have you
Yeah.
ever not let your sub come right away?
Absolutely, edge play. I actually love edge play, and you're right. I get it. You're a smart lady.
Beauty
This
and
is why we
brains.
have you here. Edge play is very no.
I think this is a combination of a lot of things.
It is.
So,
I think, from what you've described and what I've read, it's like edge play mixed with humiliation, mixed with like torture, but like the good kind of torture.
yeah.
Like I want to be tortured by my mistress or Mister, because you can be gay and do this as well. And yeah, no, I get it. I actually, you have put it in terms that I fully understand.
I agree. You can be gay. You can be happy, and do this. Yes.
Homosexual.
Yes.
Why
let's
you gotta- why you gotta spell that?
these are big words.
You gotta have a penis and like a penis. All the penises. Or you could be pan. You don't have to just be gay. You could be pan.
You can be pan
bi.
and still lock up the Peter. Yes.
Yeah.
I think when I was doing my research, and I'm gonna be completely honest because I feel like people who listen to this podcast want our honesty. I was very confused by this, and I was at first very adverse to it. I'm like, oh my god, why would you do that? But I also said, okay, why would you do that? Why would somebody do that? And so then I decided to look in further, and I decided to research and read, and then I started to see the connection. Like I did. I started as a sub, and and I think if you were a dom, like, to have that trust of someone, I feel like that would probably, like, somebody trusts me enough to have the key to their sexual pleasure, like a physical representation. How is that not hot? Like, I'm just saying.
No, you're right. You know what? I think
Well,
that, I think
your dom would have the key, but then every locksmith could do to it.
you know what that's.
Call in the locksmiths.
I will say
It'd be
this.
a nice little fantasy thing.
But then you'd
Stuck
be
in a
punished.
chastity belt, and then you have a line of locksmiths trying to open it up.
Yeah. I think I get this, but I definitely would not want to hand that. Like, I would have to make sure my partner was not the type of person to lose his keys ever, because like I lose my keys all the time. 100% of the time I lose my keys. What if the dom was just like, I left the key at my office, and it's Friday.
They make keys that you wear on your person. And it's almost like a commitment. It's like
Yeah.
a ring, a wedding ring, a collar. It's a physical, like they have. I've seen so many of, like, especially with the females, they make them where that you can on your bra. They can make it around your neck as a necklace. You wear it. It's like a symbol of commitment.
I like this. You know what I think we've discovered with this fetish?
Oh, chastity boobs, huh?
I think-
that put a tear in my eye.
I think we've discovered something in this fetish that doesn't have nothing to do with this fetish, but I think that when we have a very sub-related fetish, I think Miss Rebecca is going to be our go-to host on that. Because
I'm just trying.
no, you really have put this in, like, perspective that I understand. Like, as a dom, you've changed the light that how I see this, because I also went into this very trepidatiously. And
The way
just
you put
very-
it in, John tends to see the light.
yeah,
You
you
how I
inserted
do
it
it.
just the right way.
slow
Because
and
like
steady.
I am so guilty about looking up the factual stuff, like how it's done, with like, tie and tease, tease and denial, total denial, and male strap-on harnesses. Like, those are varieties that I'm going to talk about. But I think from now on, when we have like a sub-related fetish, I want you to be the host of that, because you put your eyes and opinion. This is why we brought you on in the first place. You have the opinion of a
it's
sub.
not my pretty face?
And a film. Well, it's not a podcast.
It is on a podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, by the way. Anybody who wants to know.
She's very pretty. Very, very pretty.
I'm pretty.
She's so pretty. Which is why I
Pretty
still
doesn't do it
don't get.
justice, but yes.
Because we have this new show called The Would You Will. Why is it always my face? I'm the least prettiest of the bunch. Just throwing that out there.
But I try very hard, because being a sub is not just going, yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. There's a lot of psychological and emotional things that go into it. And I think just like being a Dom, I mean, and we'll cover that in Dom etiquette. I mean, being a Dom is about being a caretaker of that trust. And, I this chastity thing, I was like, ugh. I was looking at, I was overwhelmed by these devices, because the penis is a very beautiful thing. I'm just saying, I've not met one I haven't really liked. So why would you walk that up? But I got it. I think because I was a sub, I got it. I understood. And I don't know.
I
feel
because you're Scotch such a pretty face.
If I was going to give somebody the key, like if somebody was going to collar me, like that's a commitment, and that's not something you take lightly. This is not just something that's like, oh, I'm just going to deny myself orgasm. It's a commitment.
It is.
No,
I agree. And let's talk about some different varieties of male chastity and things. Like, you have the tie and tease, which I mean, I'm gonna be real honest. A lot of this stuff has to do with bondage. It is a very bondage heavy type of fetish. Everything from the chastity device that you wear around your boy, to just being tied and not allowed to touch it. Like, let's say a cock cage is not your thing. My penis is very claustrophobic. It doesn't want to be trapped anywhere. You could be tied up and just not allowed to acknowledge the fact that you have genitalia. And this is often done with both male and female. It's where you were talking about earlier, edge play. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I think that will be a whole different episode with edge play.
Yes. Now I can see Chip. We're going to get in trouble.
I know.
Sorry.
It's almost the in-person episode all over again.
It really is. The episode that you can only listen to on our Patreon.
On the Patreon.
Because it is just chaos, and I love it.
It is South Pass somehow. See what you do to me.
But yeah,
this is why I can't be seen, because
I know I get all giggly.
see?
So you have the first one, the tie and tease, where you tie them up, tease them, and then eventually you give into, like, very much edge play. Mm-hmm. Then you have the tease and denial. And for this, I'm going to tell a joke. This is a joke I heard when I was a teenager. This man was going around. He was looking for some sexual gratification through the harness of a sex worker. He finds somebody, but he's a broke dude, so he's got like $20. He's like, "What can I get for $20?" He's like, "You can get a penguin." "What's a penguin?" He goes, "Don't worry, you'll love it. You'll love it. You'll love it." So he's like, "Okay, don't care." Pays $20. She pulls down his pants and starts, to his ankles. Starts going to town, and she goes, "Please let me know when you're about to finish." He's like, okay. Going to town. And he's like, "Okay, I'm about to finish." And she stops and walks out of the room. Pants around the ankles, he starts waddling after her, looking just like a penguin. And that, my friends, is a penguin. Also a form of tease and denial. I'm going to bring you to the edge, and then I'm going to ruin your orgasm. And that is a form of chastity. It's called ruined orgasm. It's straight up. or as I like to call it, the penguin, because you're like, oh no, don't stop, and then I'm gonna waddle
I
after you
almost
like a
wish I would
penguin.
have ruined his attempt to save the story, but
I know.
it
I was like,
happened.
Chip, you didn't save us.
Oh
I-
come on, that's a funny joke.
That was a funny joke.
Y'all didn't laugh. You laugh at all Shep's jokes, but when
It's a
I
real
tell,
Cage joke.
okay, fair enough. But no,
I was
a ruined
denying you
orgasm.
that pleasure.
Oh, did you just
Someday,
penguin me on my
someday.
joke?
I mean, baby.
So, and then we come to total denial, which is the cage, where they're locked. They are unable to reach any type of erection and or orgasm without the use of the key holder.
Well, since we don't have a live audience, I'll have to turn audience member and ask some of these key important questions on people's minds.
All right.
The chastity belt. How the hell do you poop?
Oh, I'm going to send you a picture, and if you actually follow us on
No.
Twitter.
Remember, I'm an audience member.
Oh, no, I'm about to answer this. If you follow us on Twitter,
Visuals.
at Dinks with Kinks, you'll see a picture, but what I'm going to describe is, do you know what a cock ring is?
Maybe.
Okay, imagine that
Why
one
you want to marry it?
a little bit. I'm going to put a ring on it. A cock ring is typically something that reduces blood flow that you insert onto your penis. The chastity belt is not really so much a belt as a device. It literally just sits on your penis and balls, locking like in a cage.
But doesn't the female one have to go all the way?
It's got openings.
It does have openings in places.
It has
Does
openings.
the
in the-
opening flexibly expand like your anus? I mean,
You'll see. You'll see.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. We'll post. Tell you what, if you really want to see, follow us on Twitter.
no,
At
like I
Dinks with
said,
Kinks.
I'm just acting like I've never seen or understood these things from the
No,
audience
absolutely.
perspective. So we answer all the questions,
But typically,
all of them.
it is a male device that only sits on your genitalia with a little hole in the tip, so you can pee. These devices are meant to be worn.
What if you're a bad aimer? Are you gonna start pissing on yourself a lot?
I feel like this would help with aim. It would guide, it's like extending a barrel to a rifle.
I think they sit, if I remember correctly.
They sit correctly? I would love to see mine sit correctly.
Typically, if you're in
Does it cross its
chastity,
nuts?
these people would be made to sit to pee.
Gotcha.
Now we're going to get to the last one I have as far as like types, and it's the male strap-on harness. Now I know the first thing you're thinking is male strap-on. This is pegging. It is not. It is a fake penis that you put your penis into, so you may give your sub pleasure while being denied yourself.
Oh, I
This
thought
is
it was something
also-
that you strap on backwards, so that way you have somebody in
No.
the front and the back.
It's like, imagine a very thick ass condom. That's essentially what this is. It's a hollow penis that you put your penis into, that the male wears a strap
So
on
it's like
over
like
their
plastic condom.
penis. This is actually used a lot with people who suffer from premature ejaculation. This particular one is not always used for chastity, but like somebody who wants to last longer or make people think he's bigger than he really is. And it's commonly used in those circumstances, but it can also be used as a form of chastity that I can get off, you can get me off without getting yourself off. And it's like that form of pleasure denial. It's more or less so you're pleasing me while you're not getting any style humiliation.
I mean, but
So
is it really? Let me see here.
I mean, I get off. It's not even just
Lost my word. One
the
sec.
physical touch. Shep is doing some math in his head.
No, it's past math o'clock. So no mathing.
Okay.
Just
Yeah. So those are your different types of chastity. There's a lot more than I thought there was. It wasn't just the cock cage, which when I went into this, I just pictured that. Like, I actually pictured the images I'd seen before this episode, like before I started researching, because occasionally, as you're looking up other fetishes, you are exposed. Every fetish is a gateway fetish to another fetish.
Mm-hmm.
And people mix and match. That's what I love about fetishes. You can have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, it's like that song. A little bit of Monica in my life. A little bit of chastity in my life. A little bit of bondage in my life. Okay, well, moving on. Let's see what we got. This comes a time where I want to know, would you guys participate in this fetish? I know you kind of throughout the episodes told your opinion, but I want an affirmative after the episode report. Is this a fetish that you would participate in for either doing yourself or with your partner?
I was very back and forth. I actually surprised myself as I was talking. I was like, wow, what I do? I mean, I don't know. I don't, as much as I think I would, I don't think I like touching myself and I like touching other people. I feel like this is something that
It does kind of deny that.
We too also enjoy those concepts.
I don't think I could participate in it, not because I feel like the denial part is not, because it also involves a bunch of humiliation, and that is on something I'm not into is humiliation, and so I feel like I probably would not, even though I find the concept
body cannot be denied.
I feel like the concept, I get it, and like I said, that trust and that loyalty and that surrender is very sexual and very appealing. I just don't personally think I would.
Shep, you just can't shake your head. You have to give us like a verbal opinion. Again,
Remember, this is an audio podcast.
I wasn't shaking my head. I was having my nervous twitch. But thank you for bringing it to my attention.
All right then.
And this is also why I'm not going to do my camera on this audio cast ever. No. But no, I would. I mean, like I said, I do respect it and understand the interactions and what that, how much of a deep meaning it can have, because in some relationships it is still that sub relationship. It just comes in all artistic forms, and so just based on how we're wired. So I would say no for me.
We're not all the same. Just because
we're really not.
We're not. Just because you say I'm a sub or I'm a dom, I mean, it's a wide range of things, and that's what's so great about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think I stand with you guys. Like, thanks to Miss Rebecca, I actually have a new appreciation and understanding of this, and I do enjoy edge play to a degree, but I am also not into humiliation or denial. I don't want to deny anybody anything, which is why everybody owes me money, because they're like, "You got $5? Yeah, here you go. Here, have $5. It's cool." So I don't deny nobody nothing. I feel like I'm going to have a lot of people ask me for money now. I'm broke, so don't worry about it.
I was like, I'm still waiting for you to pay for my pedicure, so.
I'm broke. Don't worry about it.
But I feel like every few episodes and stuff, we've tried to take a negative word and give it a new shiny coating and stuff. When you said the premature ejaculation, I just feel like it's just such a negative word. And so we always try to turn all of our negatives into positives and stuff. So we can always call it maybe the proactive lubricant enhancement instead of premature ejaculation.
I love you.
Shep,
I'm saying.
going to tell you right now, that is the greatest. I like it.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
I think the Lonely Island Boys did premature ejaculation the best. You guys ever heard the song "Jizzed in My Pants"?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Oh, greatest song.
It's a bit much after you get about halfway through, but
pants. I never get all the way through. I usually just finish in the very first lyric, and I'm done. All right, guys, it's time for the wheel. Are y'all ready?
No.
Yes, after that, I'm going to stop it. For everyone's sake, I'm saying, yes, spin the wheel.
Yeah, I wanted
Spin the
to
wheel
make sure
because your gears are stalled.
Yeah, I had to stall that conversation by again making a very bad joke. Here we go. What are we talking about next week? We damn near killed Shep. Let me ask y'all a question.
Oh, no.
Are any of y'all pet owners?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever wear fluffy coats during winter?
Is it petophilia time?
It is not pedophilia. We are not.
Are we doing
covering
furries?
pedophilia.
Are we doing
We're
furries?
Yeah.
doing furries.
I said pet. Pet. Make sure you heard the word pet there.
No, not zoophilia, pedophilia. We are doing furries.
Pet.
I
Next
actually,
week-
I have a, I'm very excited.
Oh, I
You
do.
have a ooh?
I saw some documentaries and I started actually like researching into this like while I was like doing the whole chastity thing. I fell into.
You fell into the hole. Yeah, I know.
And I know I'm very excited. I'm very excited about that. Yay!
I personally know furries. I love furries. Oh my god, I'm excited. Next week is going to be a plushy ass episode, and it's going to be fun on a bun. Next week we're doing furries.
I have 2 cats, but I haven't had a pet in a while.
Aww.
Oh, Shep will have to fix that.
Do you
We'll
have
get
an
a
online
furry.
application for that too? So we can.
Please.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. But before we go, I want to remind everybody that we have a Patreon. And if you really want to support this podcast, check it out. It's not expensive. You get early access to episodes. You get bonus videos. We have a new video show called The Would You Will, which is pretty much where we bring special guests on. And we talk
You get
about...
the episodes with John's puns edited out.
Yeah, you get the
It's
pun free. Pun free on the Patreon. Patreon
No,
pun
not
free.
pun free.
Was Dondero pun free? It's John pun. You know what? We should make that a tier. It's like a $50 tier, and I will personally edit out all my bad puns.
So that it's like 3 minutes long.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
$50. You get a 3-minute episode of Dinks with Kinks, but I don't make a single pun. It won't be fun on a bun.
And we'll have a list of all the new words we're inventing.
We will. But we have a new show, the new show, The Would You Will, which you can find out on our YouTube channel,
Would you tell us
the
more?
short episode or full episode on our Patreon, where we bring special guests on, bring out our Will of Fetishes from past episodes, spin it, and then get their opinion on it. And so we've had some great guests in the past. We have some great guests in the future. It's going to be a lot of fun. Follow us on social media, Instagram, while we still have it, because they just hate us on there, and Twitter. At Dinks Wit Kinks. Links for all of that are down below. I am one of your
Links
hosts.
for the dinks?
Link.
Links
to
for the
Kinks with the Dinks.
With their
Oh,
kinks.
yes.
You're welcome.
Shep.
Oh,
There's a
Shep.
reason we have you on this podcast. That's not it,
TM.
but it's a good reason. I'm your host, John, and with me is the very punny Mr. Shep
Good evening. Good night.
and the absolutely brilliant Miss Rebecca.
Good evening.
All right, we'll see
Oh,
you guys
has
next week.
been.
Bye.
Mhm.